So today we are planting strawberries. We have them soaking for about half an hour, 4 hours, 6 hours. Just don't soak them overnight. Don't drown the roots. Basically what we're doing is planting our strawberries into a perennial row in our garden so that we have a ground cover for our berry bushes. The berry bushes are going to take a while to fill out, but they will eventually cover all the space that we planted them in. So in the meantime, we need something to protect and feed the soil. So we're planting strawberries in, which will also feed us. And we have a couple different varieties. We're going to plant them in different blocks, but we're going to plant them down the center of the row and then allow the runners to go extend and fill out the rest of the row. So it's really just a matter of letting strawberries do what they do, and most varieties of strawberries will want to send out runners. Runners are basically just the strawberries' way of creating new plants. You can cut them off if you're really focused on trying to make that mother plant that much stronger. But if you're trying to expand your planting and get a lot more fruit the following years and not too worried about the initial year, it's a good idea to let the runners grow, and that will be a lot more nutrients coming down into the plant. You can even eventually cut the runners, dig them out of the soil, and sell them as plants on your own. So strawberries are very useful in that fact. The ones that do runner, I would say probably about 90% of them do. There's only very few cultivars that they specifically bred that out so that you don't need to worry about them expanding in your garden. Sometimes that's exactly what you want. But for us, we're going to plant them about every 12 inches in here, let them expand out fully, spread throughout the bed. They're going to cover the ground, protect the soil, keep that sun transitioning into sugars, into foods, down into the microbes, and everything that's living underneath the soil, feed all of them, help generate better life within our gardens. And yeah, we're just gonna dig those holes. You can put a cone in the center of the hole and then dress the roots over it, kind of like a volcano, and then spreading the roots out equally on every side. But if you have a lot of plants, that's kind of unrealistic. You want to be economical in the time that you use to put them in, because in reality, everything is about what you're getting out of it and what you can trade with the soil ecological process. So the less time you spend on it, the smoother it's going to be. And if you lose a couple plants, like I was saying before, strawberries are so prolific and want to reproduce themselves so much that it's really not that big of a deal, unless you're just buying 25 plants or 12 plants or something like that. Then give them the extra care, give them the extra tending too. But so in our context, we have about 100 plants, maybe a little bit more, and we're just planting them down the center of this row, 12 inches apart. We're digging a quick hole. We're not worried about making a perfect volcano in the center and spreading the roots out beautifully. We're digging the hole, throwing a little mycorrhizal fungi in there. We would probably top dress it with our chicken manure pellets. Basically, it's a 543 fertilizer, organically certified from a local farm. So we're trying to support another farmer around here who's doing something that can benefit all the other farmers around us. So top dress it with that, rake it in, give it a bit of a hay or straw mulch covering, and that's basically it. Thankfully, we have about a week or week and a half of on and off rain coming, so that'll water everything in very well. We won't need to worry about any sort of irrigation for a while. Spring here seems to be quite moist this year. So we're gonna get digging. So we got our plants here. They're usually in some sort of packaging, usually bundled together. We got the Mara Des Bois. And yeah, here's our rubber band. Pull that off. And here is a perfect example of a single plant. So this is what I'm talking about. The crown is here. It's the top part of the roots. This is what you want to make sure at least this part here is above the soil. And then these are the roots that you can get fancy with and put all around a cone, but basically you want them all in the ground and spreading as much as possible. They don't need to go so far down as they need to go out and spread. So that's that. We have our mycorrhizal fungi here. Don't get too concerned about the brand. Just try and find something that is natural, organic, and if you can, try and get a wide variety of fungi that are in there, and that will help your plants grow and adapt to the soils that they get put in a lot better. So yep, we're gonna grab our shovel and get started. Alright, so this is a great example of why you don't buy cheap tools, why you don't buy your tools at big box stores. Support local hardware stores and or farm stores, and then if you can't do that, make sure you buy your tools from reputable places online that are durable and reliable. This is easy enough to put back in and drive a new rivet through or a new screw or something along those lines, but clearly these aren't made to last, and if this was 40 bucks and the good one costs 80 or 90 bucks, I'd much rather it last 10 seasons instead of one. So we're ready to plant, and we have all of our roots soaked here, and we're just going to dig a hole every foot or 12 inches and then put our plants into them. Because there's two of us here, I'm going to dig the holes. Alex is going to follow up with the mycorrhizal fungi in the plant, and then we're just going to go down the line. If you were by yourself, maybe it'd be a good idea to leave your bucket over there, dig the holes, and then when you get over there, all your holes are ready to be planted. Just try and keep that in mind and be as efficient as you can with your time. So let's get planting. So it's crack the soil open. You can dig a full hole if you want, but otherwise it's just work it back and forth a little bit. That'll release the pressure from each side. We sprinkle our mycorrhizal fungi. We grab one of our roots and we set it down into the hole. And then release. And you do want to make sure that your roots aren't coming back up like this. So in this case, I'm just going to dig under here a little bit, pull it back, and shove them down. You don't want them coming up, but it's okay if they're closer to the surface. And then we just want to make sure that the crown isn't buried under the soil. So we're going to put that back. And then you want to be conscientious of your little worms and everything else living in there. So we're going to put him back too. And that's it. Because we're getting so much rain, the rain is going to help compact the soil down around the roots. You do want to give it a little pressure so that there's not a bunch of oxygen going in down there. The plant roots do need oxygen, but they don't need big gaps and pockets and holes. So we're just going to continue down the line, plant all the rest of the strawberries. We've got 3 different varieties: Mara Des Bois, Evie 2, and I forget what the third one is, but that's okay. Regardless, we're going to mark them out, we're going to get them in, and they'll be ready for the rains coming next week. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next time.